Welcome back to Navigate Your Wealth. I'm your host, Kristin Oakley, here with both Karen and Sam, the mother-daughter dynamic duo that make up Compass Financial, based right here in Charleston. We've been talking today about the greatest trick ever played, which is, of course, taxes. And I think, you know, if I had to sum up today's conversation, we want folks to know, we want you to know that you don't have to settle for the government's plan for you. There is another way, there are better ways, but you're only going to know that by receiving an in-depth analysis to see what your potential tax burden is going to be in retirement, what your potential tax bill might be, and then work now. You can even take steps now to mitigate it. You know, I think sometimes folks don't pay attention to this stuff until they're closer to retirement. You work with folks across all different age spectrums. Any stories come to mind of someone you've been able to sit down, do this analysis with, and then be able to proactively start taking steps to mitigate that tax burden for them?
You know, we had a client that, I love that you asked this question, because we had a client that came to us and they were just actively saving into their 401k. But they had extra dollars that they were saying, okay, where else should it be going? And the default strategy is to say, okay, well, let's invest those dollars because it needs to be in the market and it will have the opportunity to grow.
Right.
And we said, what exposure to taxes have you looked at for your retirement? What exposure to taxes have you considered? Because at this point, he was only about 36 years old. And as we've stated, we're in a very low tax bracket environment right now. And so we said, okay, you're going to be working for the next probably 20 years at a minimum. Don't we think tax brackets have the opportunity to change over the next 20 years? But also, what are the chances that you're making the lowest income you're ever going to make right now at 36 years old? Probably not, you know?
Hopefully not,
So
right?
we need to be thinking about how do we take the impact of taxes and look at it, as Mom said, paying both on the seed and the harvest. So that 401k contribution that he was making was great. His company didn't have a Roth 401k option, but he had 100% match with his company. So first rule of financial planning, take the free money. We encouraged him to continue that contribution. But he was only contributing about 8% into that 401k, which means with a goal of saving 20% of his gross wages, he still had 12% that he could invest somewhere else. For him, he needed to consider a Roth IRA or cash value life insurance to make sure that he was on both sides of the tax chart. The goal with being on both sides of the tax chart is that he then would be in control of manipulating where taxes are. And Mom has an amazing analogy. I'd tell the story, but she's such a pro at it that I want you to tell the analogy for being in control.
Well, you know, being in control boils down to, at the beginning of the show, I said so many people listen to the financial advisors who said, put as much money away now as you can because you're going to be in the lower tax bracket. So everything was piled into that qualified plan. I want you to think of it this way. When you retire with 100% of your dollars being taxable, you are literally sitting at the table with your hands in handcuffs and saying, thank you, government, give me whatever you have left over after you take yours first. Because that's what happens with qualified funds, right? Wherever tax bracket you fall into, they're going to take theirs before they give you yours. So my story is, instead of giving them the control through tax diversification, I don't know if you remember, but TCBY, you can go in and get your own ice cream, okay? So I look at this tax diversification as vanilla is the qualified plan and chocolate is the tax-free, because I like chocolate better. So now the beautiful thing about having that tax diversification and having those two bags of money is that the money that is coming out taxable and the money that is coming out tax-free looks like a Dairy Queen chocolate vanilla swirl. But this is why control is so important. We know that tax rates are going to change in the future. Over the past 30, 40, 50 years, they've been all over the map. going forward throughout your retirement account, they're also going, or retirement life, they're also going to be all over the place. So when you know that you've got 2 funnels to disperse from, that ice cream cone in the 50-50 blend of chocolate and vanilla is exactly 50% here and 50% there, right? If you have $100,000 of income, right, $25,000 to the tax,
right,
you end up with $75,000. In the other scenario, you have $50,000 and $50,000, you end up with more. But here's the thing, what if they pass a flat tax? Okay, I'm going to take more vanilla because it's taxable. It's only 10%. I'm going to take more out of that one.
Right.
But if taxes go back to where they were when I first got in this industry of 80%, I want to make sure that I fill the bottom of the cup up with vanilla because I want to take my standard, exemptions, right?
Yeah,
32,000 or whatever it is.
Yep.
But then the top of the cone is going to look like I'm eating all chocolate. The basic story is this. If you do nothing and have everything in those qualified accounts, you are going to be subject to government control. If you understand that through tax diversification, hey, if you can get the whole thing over to Roth IRAs and it's 100% tax-free, which is what we did with another client, all the better. But again, having 2 funnels so that you can manipulate where tax, because they're going to change every year.
They are, yeah.
So as you see where the tax rates are in that year, you can then decide, do I want more vanilla or do I want more chocolate? You want to be in a position where you are taking and getting the most after-tax net spendable income possible.
Yes, it's about helping folks keep more of your hard-earned money. And I think a lot of people forget that the tax code was originally written to help us pay the least amount of tax possible. I think so many people have forgotten that and just assumed, oh, this is the way things are, oh, woe is me. I'm so grateful that you're shedding light on these strategies, that there is another way, there is a better way.
There is. And if you are not 36 years old with time on your side to begin looking at tax diversified continued savings, there is ways to do conversions on assets that you already have. It's not too late. The only way that it's too late is if you sit on your hands and do nothing. Is it worth 40 minutes of your time to make sure that you're maximizing every dollar that you have? Pick up the phone today and call. At Compass Financial, we want to help you build your ideal retirement roadmap. We want to make sure that it's personalized for you so that you aren't being tricked by the government, but that you get to stay in control.
Sam and Karen, thank you so much. If you would like the team of Compass Financial to be in your corner to help you navigate the greatest trick that's ever been played, we encourage you to call 855-348-3073. Be safe, be happy, be blessed. We look forward to being back with you next time here on Navigate Your Wealth.